Hi everyone, this is Mr. Weston. Today we're doing a Khan Academy tutorial on create equivalent expressions by factoring. This one's more complicated than you think because there's multiple answers. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we might approach this problem if we're looking to factor out the GCF, which I'll talk about, and then how we can factor it in other ways also that are equivalent. So the problem is factor 16a plus 72 to identify the equivalent expressions. Let's go ahead and start by doing the GCF method. So the GCF method essentially is talking about the greatest common factor. If we're looking at 16a and 72 separately, we'll notice that they both have some numerical values in front, right? So 16a is the 16 is the coefficient of a. I'm going to write that down here. And then we have 72. 72 is the constant, but that has factors also. We're going to be looking to see which factors they have in common. So I need to list them out. So I like doing it this method where I start with my different numbers that multiply together to give me 16. So I have 2 and 8. I like to go in this sequence until I get to the middle. 3 is not, and then we have 4, and that's it. So we have 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16 are factors of 16. 72, I probably should have given myself a little bit more space for, because there's a lot of them. So let's go 1 and 72. Then I have 2 and 36. Then 3. It is a factor of 3. Oh boy, what is it? 3 times, it's not 18. It's got to be like 24 or something like that. Let me just do a quick division problem. I don't have a calculator handy. That probably would have been nice to have. So we have 12, 4. So 24. So 3 and 24. I'm running out of space already. So I have, let me rewrite it. 1, 2, 3, 72, 36, 24. 4. I'm not sure if it's divisible by 4. Let's go ahead and find out. So it goes in 1 time. That's 4, 3, 2, and that goes, yep, 18. So 4 and 18. We're getting close to the middle here. 5 is a no. 6, not sure about. I think it is, though, because it's a factor of 36, so it's definitely going to be a factor of 72. So we do 6, goes at 1 time. 1 and then 2, so it's 12. So 6 and 12, almost to the middle here. This is a pretty time consuming. Then I have 8 and 9, I'm done. Okay, so 8 and 9, those are my last ones. All right, so I have common factors here. Let me highlight all the common factors. So we have 1 here, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 8, and 8. Sorry about that small number. And no 16. So 16 is not a factor of 72. But that's okay, I have my different factors. Now, looking here at these setups, you'll notice that we're going to have a number outside. These numbers are all the factors of both those terms. So 4 is hopefully going to be a factor of the coefficient there, and 4 also hopefully a factor of the constant. So if I'm going to try to factor this without looking at these answers real quick, okay, if I'm going to factor it, ideally what I would do is I would put my greatest common factor, in this case it's 8. Then I would put parentheses, and then I would put what 8 multiplies by to get my first term here, keep the plus sign the same, and then what 8 multiplies by to get my second term here. This would be my second term. Okay, so what does that look like? 8 times blank equals 16a. Well, I know that 8 times 2 gives me 16, but then I have to have the a in there also. So this would be 2a. I'm going to go y. I'm going to check my answer in a second. It might make a little bit more sense, but just hang with me for just a moment. Now I'm thinking about 8 times, let me change it back to blue, 8 times blank equals 72. Well, I know that 72 divided by 8 equals 9, so it's going to be 9 right here. So that's going to be my final answer if I was going to factor out using the greatest common factor. And distributive property and factoring are inverses of each other. So really what we're doing here is this is the result of distributing. I'm going to go backwards, and that's called factoring. So I have 8 times 2a, that gives me 16a, check. 8 times 9 for my next rainbow. Oops, I don't know why a ruler just appeared. And I'm not sure how to get it off. Let's just move it over there. 16a plus, and then 8 times 9 is 72. So I have 16a plus 72. That checks out. So I'm going to look for this in my multiple choice, and it looks like it's right here, B. Now, it says choose 2 answers. So that means I can factor out something else. So let me see if I can, oh, there we go, got it off. Let me see if I can erase this a little bit. give myself some more space. So I have to choose another one that's equivalent. Now, there's a couple options here. We could just go through each one of these and distribute and check our answer. So 4 times 4 is 16. Don't forget the A. 4 times 18. Oh, gosh. I think did I say that was... Yeah, that was 72, wasn't it? Plus 72. So it looks like it's this one. And then let's just double check here. So if I do these two, so that's 2 times 8 is 16. It's not 16A. We have 72A. So this one's out. This would be 16A plus, 144. So this one's out. So it's going to be A and B. Now, there's another, other than just checking your answer with distribution, there's another way. So we factored out using the greatest common factor. You could also factor out just using a different factor. You could factor out using 4, even though it's not the greatest common factor between the two of them. So 4 is a factor of 16. 4 is also a factor of 72. So what happens when I do that? So I have 4, and then I have the same process here. Here's going to be my first term. There's going to be my second term. What do I multiply by 4? Let me erase this here, trying to get organized. What do I multiply by 4 to give me 16A? Well, I'm going to multiply by 4A. 4 times 4 gives me 16, and then I just have the A left in there. Keep the plus the same, just like before. Then I think to myself, okay, what do I multiply by 4 to get 72? Well, hopefully I've already done this work for myself, and I think I figured out that it was 18, right? So then I'll put 18, 4 times 18 equals 72, and there I go. Okay, so that is another way to factor. Now, it's not factoring out with the GCF, but it is another way to factor, and it is equivalent, meaning equal to. So that's why A and B are my correct answers. Now, technically, you can do this whole thing without knowing factoring. You just distribute and see which ones equal up. So, for example, if I just wanted to distribute here, I could get 48m plus, that was 6 times 8m is 48, and then the m. 6 times 7 is 42, and then I have the n. Does that match up? Yes, it does. So I know A is my answer. Now, I could go through the process of finding my common factors, though, to factor out my GCF. So 48, what are my factors of 48? And what are my factors of 42? This is lengthy. This is a process. We have 2, 24, 3, I think it's 16, right? Yep, 3 and 16, 4 and 12. I'm running out of space. My goodness. 1, 2, 3. Sorry about this. 4, and I had 48, 24, 18, 12. 8 and 6, I think are the next ones. And there we go. Okay, 42 is a little bit less. 1, 42, 2, 21. 3, it is a factor of 3, which is what? Oh, my goodness. So it goes in 1 time, 12, 4, 14. So 3 and 14. And then, is it a factor of 4? I don't think so. 7 times 6, though. So 6 and 7. I don't think it's 40. No, it's not a factor of 4. So 6 and 7, those are my ones. So if I'm looking for my greatest common factor, I have factors 1, 2, 3, not 4, 6, yes, not 14, not 21. That's it. So 6 is my greatest common factor. So that's why, boom, this is as simple as it can get on the inside. You can't factor out anything more. So this is like the most factored. When you factor out the GCF, it's the most factored. So now I need to see if there's any other ones. And it says there's 2, so there's definitely going to be another one. So what are other common factors? Well, I could have factored out a 3. So 3 is a possible. 2 is a possible. 7 is not possible. So I know that one's already wrong, so I'm down to a 50-50 shot. Now, if I factor out, I don't know, the 3. So if I factor out a 3 here, what would I get on the inside? So I factor out a 3. I say 3 times what gives me 48m. Again, that's my process. 3 times what gives me my 48m. Keep the plus sign the same, and then there's my second slot right there. So my first slot is 3 times what gives me 48m. That's going to be 16m. Okay, that matches up so far. And then I say 3 times what gives me 42n. Well, I know 3 times, was it 14? Yeah, it was 3 times 14 gives me 42, but then I have to have the n there. So again, this is 3 times something equals 42n, and that was 14n. So that would match up with B. So it looks like it's A and B again. Now we can just check C, why it doesn't work. So we do 2 times 12 there, and it gives 24m, and it's already off, right? So actually, distribution might be quicker for this one, but I wanted to show you how we can factor, because that's the whole point by factoring, and it's going to be an important skill for later. So just make sure you know how to factor. Distribution is a good way to check your answers. So let's go ahead and bubble that in, A and B. There we go. All right, let's move a little bit quicker here. We have two answers again. We have 18p minus 36. So we need to factor out the greatest common factor. Luckily, these ones are a little bit easier. So we have 36. And honestly, I'm just going to do this because that's how I would do it normally. So 2, 9, 3, 6, and that's good. 36 has a lot of factors. And I just know off the top of my head that it's going to have the same factor. 18 is a factor of 36. Okay, 9, 6, 3, 2, 1. All of them are going to be common factors. So I can factor out the 18 is my point. I'm going to check this one first. So if I factor out the 18, what's going to go in the first line? Oh, by the way, if it's minus here, that means it's going to be minus here also, okay? So make sure you keep that in mind. All these are minuses for my answers, so that's a way to check. All right, so 18 times what gives me 18p? Well, 18 times p gives me 18p. And then 18 times what gives me 36? 2. So this one is, in fact, one of the answers. And now I need to think, okay, 3, 9, and 2 are all correct. So I'm just going to look here and say, okay, 2 times 9p gives me 18p. I'm checking C first. And then 2 times 18 gives me 36. I think it's going to be this one, okay? Because that one looks correct to me. So I need to check the other one. This one's not going to be correct. Number one, you can do 2p minus 4p, and you can get negative 2p there, and then you're going to multiply that by 9. You get negative 18p. It doesn't even have two terms, so that one's wrong. Then this one, if you multiply that, you get 27p, so that one's wrong also. So for this last one, so this one's C and D. For the last problem, I wanted to show you just distribution. If you're looking to do this in the quickest way possible, there might be an easier way than what I've been doing. So let's just go ahead and start. If we want 60 for the first term, 6 times 10 equals 60, 4 times 15 equals 60, 12 times 5 equals 60, 3 times 20 equals 60. Okay, so we haven't ruled out any. Now, look at, there's a minus sign there for the next one. Okay, for the middle, in the middle of the operation. So this one's plus, D's out. Okay, so I already eliminated 1 because that wasn't equal to, it doesn't have a minus sign, so that one's out. So now I need 36W. So now I just check 6 times 6W. That gives me 36W. That's going to be one of my answers. Check. Then I have 4 times 8W. That's 32. That's no good. Okay, B's out. That means C is going to be the correct answer, but why? 12 times 3 minus 36W. And so A and C and A are my two correct choices. And there we go. So that was a little bit quicker doing it that distribution method, but I wanted to make sure you guys understood factoring. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you next time right here on Wes Explains Best.